during the rest of the term, when we see an x squared minus 7x plus 10, when we see a trinomial like this, because that has an x squared, many times we're going to end up wanting to just factor it, just like we saw with that FOIL backwards, where FOIL only works if I had a binomial, and in this case, the way we got that x squared, remember those examples we just saw, came from that x and x. We're going to have a binomial starting with x, we're going to have a binomial starting with x. That's where that x squared comes from. Now, when we want to factor the rest of this, we're going to look at that plus 10. The way that's going to be a plus 10 is the fact that both of these have to be the same sign. They could be both positive. Positive times a positive is a positive. They could be both negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. But they have to add to be that minus 7, making them both negative in this case. Now, I know the number as small as 10. It can be very easy to kind of recognize and even just do a guess and check in our mind. But to show a method that we can use a very systematic approach, look at all the factors of 10. We know that those two numbers need to multiply to be 10. Think of all the numbers and start easy. 1 times itself. Be systematic. Start counting numerically. 2 times 5. 3 won't go into 10. 4 won't go into 10. 5 will, but notice we already had it. If you make a table, you won't skip or you won't forget. With a lot of our larger numbers, it can be easy to forget, wait, does 4 go into that number? Does 6 go to that? When our numbers get larger, trying to be systematic can make things easier on us. Now, the fact that that was a plus 10 told us those were the same sign. Anytime we have the same sign, if I'm going to try adding those, whether they're positive or negative, I'm still adding them together. On that last problem, even when it was the -5 and the -3, that still gave me a -8. For that reason, still the sign of that constant. It tells us they're the same sign. Anytime they're the same sign, we add. 1 plus 10 is 11. 2 plus 5 is 7. And we look at that 7 matches my middle term. There's my 2 and 5. The way that we want to check ourselves, FOIL it back out. X times x, x squared. X times 5, -5, -5x. -2 times x, -2x. -2 times -5, positive, because the negative times negative, that's what we tried to set up, giving me a positive 10. Because I have a -5x and a -2x, they're both negative, I'm going to add them together. That's what we're planning ahead with our signs. We were recognizing that that's what we would need to do. Because that x squared minus 7x plus 10, this is my factored form. Now I want to go back to what if, when we had the double parentheses and the double x's, that's what gave me the x squared. I recognize that plus meant same sign, that minus meant both negatives. What if I had swapped? What if I put the 5 first and the 2 next? Would this have given us a different answer? X times x is still x squared. X times -2 is -2x. -5 times x is -5x. -5 times -2 is a positive 10, which notice, negative times a negative still gave me a positive, order didn't matter. -2x minus 5x, I still end up with a minus 7x. Order will not matter when we check it. It gets us the same answer. We can swap the signs. As long as we're careful with where the signs and which number matches up, in this case it wouldn't matter because they're all negative, but it won't matter what order those binomials go in.